Give two different people the exact same bow. One may love it and the other may hate it.
You see this guy? He's an ambitious bowyer.
I'm trying to build the mountain bow, which is basically a version of a bow that I love. I could try to build a bow that the majority of people would like, but the problem with that is that I'm not an expert on other people's opinions. I'm only an expert on mine.
This ambitious bowyer walked into a trap today. The trap he fell into is one he has fallen into before. This is not new, and it's due to a lack of patience. It is because he wants to be productive. He wants to be efficient. He wants to maximize every moment of time that he has been gifted. The irony is that fast is sometimes not fast.
The vision today is to build a new riser to upgrade this riser that's a solid block of wood. Secondly, we're gonna make some new limbs that are a little bit thicker. This bow right here has a 16-pound draw. That ain't gonna cut it for me, so we're gonna raise that draw weight. And then lastly, if the bow's above a 40-pound bow, I'm gonna actually take the time to finish out the bow, even spray a finish on it. I'm gonna keep the riser design the same, just use a different material and make it look a little bit more spicy. And make the best bow I've ever made this week.
This bowyer has things that he wants. He wants perfection. He wants precision. He wants accuracy. He wants the bow to be a natural extension of the body, to effortlessly project the arrow accurately. He wants shooting a bow to feel as easy as shooting a basketball once was. He wants to be great, but his patience is sometimes absent. Days pass for this ambitious bowyer, but to you, it's only a blink. The bowyer thinks, let's make the riser cool for the video. Let's do a bunch of laminations. Let's make it a forward handle. Center shot, zebra wood, hard maple, Brazilian walnut, black fiberglass, and bloodwood. Then the bowyer thinks, precision's most important. Let's focus on that. Let's make the limbs match perfectly to the riser. No limb twist, no play, no problem. The ambitious bowyer tirelessly focuses on avoiding the big mistakes. He uses precision and focus to eliminate the chance of another bow not turning out perfectly. But the odd thing about mistakes is that the mistake is often not noticed until it has already been made. Oddly, but true, he is okay highlighting his mistakes, even though he is often embarrassed by them. He believes honesty is more important than clout. This bowyer's addicted to trying new tactics and hopes to find a better method to do the same task. Uncertain results are his problem, are his fault. And is maybe the tension needed to continue. The bowyer gains confidence from stringing the bow, but in this case, he's been deceived.
There is a lesson I learned a while ago that I am forced to relearn today. And this is quite unfortunate because I made a big mistake and it was a preventable one. Here's what happened. Off camera, I wanted to string the bow up one more time, real quick, to double check my connection points between my riser and my bow limbs to make sure everything was smooth. And I decided to give it a nice little draw, and that's when it happened. And some of you might have even caught this mistake during the bow building process. But we've got the riser right here, and what you might notice now that's different is that it's busted. I did laminations horizontal, which is not ideal because when you have your pin here on a takedown bow, you're putting extra stress right there in order to, basically you're putting a lever on this to split the wood. Now, horizontal laminations can work if they're thick enough with the right type of wood in the right location. I didn't even think about where the thinnest lamination would line up. And you can see the thinnest lamination is right where it broke. It's not a glue failure, it's the wood failure. And the lever pulling this down went right to the throat of the handle, which makes this a design of a handle which I like a lot, but makes this a design that's going to be the weak point. So basically, if I would have run the laminations the other direction, it would have been completely strong enough. Or if I would have had in this section, instead of the thinnest lamination, maybe one of these pieces of hard maple as a thick section, it might have held up there. And then of course, it also depends on the draw weight of the bow, where this one's above 50 pounds now. So when I tried to draw it to full draw, I put quite a bit of pressure there and it failed. On a one-piece bow with thicker horizontal laminations, and then you've got the fiberglass, this has no problem at all to be strong. But what can make this weaker is the thinner laminations and the fact that there is you drill a hole and put an insert in, and that makes it weaker than if it's a one piece. So the temptation is to get really mad about this, but I'm gonna move on the best way I can. So I put my limbs on the riser from 4.0. I wanted to build this riser for a few different reasons. Basically, I just wanted to make something that looked cool with some nice scrap wood I had that is now even more scrap. And so because we're this far into the video, I think I'm gonna hold off on making another riser for now and see if I can finish out this.
The ambitious bowyer has forgotten that he's ambitious and will soon regain his strength.
Everything's looking good. We're at 40 pounds at 24 inches. Let's see what we're at my draw length. 50, that's almost perfect though. That's awesome. The last bow we did with this riser, remember the limbs were 16 pounds. This one's 50 pounds. We did proper calculations and nailed the draw weight this time. I think the most annoying thing is just putting that much time into a riser. And the limbs were so aligned. I took so much time to make sure I could get those perfectly aligned. And it was nice. And then, okay, I can tell this is what I was looking for. Still need to give a final reveal, but I'm gonna finish it. And then
he still doesn't know what he's talking about because he has a conflict between bow building and video making. He wants to get a video done to entertain people, but he also wants to take the time to build the bow he desires. He has not come to his senses yet.
Finish this out. But first, here's my 3-shot group from 15 yards. I think I've only shot this 6 or 7 times, and it's pretty accurate so far. Can you see that in there? And it's shooting fast, shooting straight. You know, an unedited 3-shot group right there within 4 inches, not even I was just shooting, not, I guess, instinctive. My emotions are kind of odd. I spent so much time on that riser and then it busted, so I threw the limbs on this handle and now it's shooting fantastic. So I've got a very low and high emotional state right now at the same time. I don't know, it's weird.
to finish a riser that he doesn't really love. Why? Well, because he still thinks fast is fast.
Pretty good guess. So that's interesting. 30-pound difference with 10th thou different glass.
Is it 10 or did
It was
you?
from 30 thou to 40. Oh, this is 50 thou
50,
glass.
and then it's 50 on belly and back. So it's really.
Okay, that makes sense.
It was at this moment he realized he was cutting himself short. He was letting the video dictate his actions. He was being a lazy bowyer, not an ambitious bowyer. So he decided instead of using this prototype riser that has cracks in the wood from weathering, he would be better off to start over and make a new one. The bowyer knows that excellence is his minimum standard, and he defines excellence as doing his best in the time allotted. And what he just realized is that he has more time. So he builds a bow, and he builds a bowstring. He fits it out to be silent. A D97 string with beaver string silencers, silent calf hair arrow rest, felt between the contact points in the riser and the limbs. He built this bow to be 60% fast, 40% smooth, and that it is not. It seems to be 65% fast, 75% smooth.
It's fast.
In the video, I tell people this is the best bow I've ever made this week.
The best you've ever made this week?
Yeah, the best bow I've ever made this week. Do you think that's accurate?
Well, how many bows have you made this week? It slings arrows fast.
Should we do a chrono real quick, actually? What do you think?
Speed?
Yeah, with this arrow. This is the one we've been using. This is the one we used with the 16-pound bow.
200 on the dot. 202. 203. Every time you shoot it gets faster. I'd just keep shooting.
I think it feels less than 45. I wonder if I reduced it a little bit.
206. It just keeps getting faster and faster.
Well, I drew it a little further though. The reason is the rise.
He made this riser 14.5 inches, which caused him to lose 2.5 pounds of draw weight. What the bow limb says is inaccurate for this riser pairing, but he pulled off a 42.5 pound bow, shooting over 200 feet per second. Not too shabby considering that a fast flight string without beaver on it would be another 10 or 15 feet per second faster.
It's not bad.
And as an added benefit, this bow is smooth and quiet.
Well, now what do I do? It worked.
So there he goes, the ambitious bowyer, trying to decide if he wants to become an ambitious archer. He'll shoot this bow he made thousands of times, enjoying the arrow's flight, perfecting his form, but he has a problem. That is, he gets new ideas about new bows he wants to make. And knowing that if he uses his ambition about bow making, he can make these new ideas around new bows come to life. This keeps him being an ambitious bowyer rather than an ambitious archer.